Most people think credit cards are a tool for disciplined adults. Spend, get points, pay it off, repeat. The reality is that the business model works best when you feel fine, not when you get rich. You're not broke, you're just always almost caught up, and a card is right there smoothing the gap. Credit cards don't need you to fail, they just need you to stay comfortable. Quick title. Then here's the promise of this video. A calm breakdown of how the incentives work, and what to watch for in your own behavior. This is general education, not financial advice, and I'm not here to scold anyone for using a card. Credit cards can be useful for fraud protection, cash flow timing, and building credit if you can pay in full and stay organized. The point is to understand the rules of the game, because the game is designed around predictable human habits. Start with a simple contrast. What credit cards promise versus what they're optimized to do. They promise convenience, safety, and rewards. And those things are real. But the system is optimized for revolving balances, meaning you carry a balance past the due date and pay interest. APR is the annual percentage rate, basically the yearly price of borrowing, even though it's charged daily and monthly. Convenience is the product, and the bill arrives later. Here's how the money is made, in plain English. Interchange fees are the small cut paid by the merchant every time you use the card. So even people who pay in full can be profitable. Late fees, penalty APR, balance transfer fees, and cash advance fees add extra revenue when life gets messy. But the real gold is interest on revolving balances, because that can run month after month. Points don't make you rich. Margin does. And interest is margin. Micro-story number 1. You're the responsible rewards person. You put groceries, gas, and work travel on a card. You like the clean app, and you tell yourself you're gaming the system. Then a surprise car repair hits. You float it for 1 month, and suddenly the balance hangs around for 3. You still feel financially fine because your checking account isn't on fire, but now you're paying a private tax for the comfort of not feeling pain today. That's the comfort machine working as intended. Now the psychology, because the card changes how spending feels. Behavioral economists call it the pain of paying. Tapping your phone barely registers compared to handing over cash. Present bias and hyperbolic discounting mean now feels heavier than later, even when you know the math. Variable reinforcement that keeps you engaged. Points, cashback, limited time offers, you're pre-approved, and progress bars that make spending feel like movement. Loss aversion and sunk costs show up as, I already have points or status, so I might as well keep using this card. The minimum payment is where the system gets quietly sticky. Minimum payment means the smallest amount the issuer will accept to keep you current, and it's usually a small percentage of the balance plus interest. Minimum payment is a suggestion that benefits them. On screen, minimum payment, about 2%. On screen, balance, $5,000. On screen, APR, 24%. Run that example without drowning in math. A $5,000 balance at around 24% APR can easily generate close to $100 of interest in a month, depending on the exact day counts. If your minimum payment is around 2%, you might pay about $100, which barely covers interest, so the balance doesn't move. Months turn into years, and the total interest can reach thousands, even if you never swipe the card again. That's the leash. You feel like you're paying, but you're mostly renting the balance. Micro-story number 2. Someone pays minimums because it looks official. The statement prints a number, and the brain reads it as guidance, like a recommended serving size. They're not reckless, they're busy, and they assume the system wouldn't suggest something harmful. The warning box on many statements literally shows how long it takes if you pay only the minimum, and most people never read it. That little box is the closest thing to honesty in the whole design. Rewards deserve a myth bust in one line. Myth: if I have rewards, I'm winning. Reality: 1 month of interest can erase a whole year of points. Rewards are a rebate on spending, not income. And spend more to save more is math that only works if you are already going to spend. Premium cards can make sense for high predictable spenders, but annual fees and interest turn confetti into a bill fast. Zoom out and you can see why this feels normal. Debt shifted from emergency only to everyday infrastructure because costs are spiky and paychecks are smooth, and modern life has more volatility baked in. Housing, healthcare, education, and childcare create moments where cash gets thin and credit steps in as a bridge. Buy now, pay later is the same lever in new packaging, just broken into smaller, friendlier chunks. Ownership starts to feel optional when everything can be financed, subscribed, or split into payments. Easy credit also trains you to think in monthly payments instead of total cost. A phone becomes only $35 a month. A couch becomes only $90 a month. A vacation becomes only $200 a month. And suddenly, your future paycheck is already allocated. Assets that pay you are boring on a monthly basis, but payments you owe are loud and immediate. Credit is a treadmill. It keeps you moving, and it keeps you in place. The trick is that movement feels like progress, even when it's just consumption. So, what do you do with this without turning your life into a spreadsheet prison? If you carry a balance, pause rewards chasing, and focus on lowering the APR and paying it down, because interest is the fastest leak. Avalanche targets the highest APR first. Snowball targets the smallest balance first. If you can, set autopay to the statement balance. If you can't, set a fixed payment that is comfortably above the minimum so the balance actually shrinks. Use credit like delayed debit. Only charge what you already have, and make spending slightly annoying by removing saved cards, turning on alerts, waiting 24 hours for non-essentials, and separating your spend account from your save account. And read the minimum payment warning on your statement like it's a weather report for your next few years. Here's the thesis again, with no drama. Credit cards were designed to keep you comfortable, not rich. And comfort is expensive when it's financed. When you see the levers, APR, minimum payments, interchange-funded rewards, and a psychology of friction, you stop blaming yourself for being human. You don't need a new personality. You need clearer rules for a system that profits from fuzziness. Comfort is expensive when it's financed. Wealth is quiet when it's owned.